Support for this podcast comes from the St. Alphonsus Neuroscience Institute, offering technology to provide treatment for neurological, neurosurgical, and neurointerventional conditions. This includes a dedicated neurotrauma ICU for critical care of the brain or spine and a 24/7 stroke team. More at stalphonsus.org.
The Winter Olympics are back, and Boise State Public Radio Music is celebrating the 25th Games in Milan Cortina.
Welcome to the 25th Winter Olympic Games.
NPR is covering the Games from Italy, bringing you the stories behind the competition now through February 22nd.
It's been amazing being here with Team USA.
From new events to medal counts and Team USA's highlights, follow it all with NPR's 2026 Winter Olympics coverage at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector, Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. There is another immigration bill at the Idaho Capitol, and in McCall, Payette Lake is setting a winter weather record. We'll tell you all about it. It is Thursday, the 12th of February. Here we go with today's stories. All government buildings and private businesses would have to ban transgender people from using bathrooms that align with their gender identity. That under a new bill heading to the Idaho House floor. James Dawson tells us more.
Government offices and private businesses would have to take, quote, reasonable steps to enforce the bill if it becomes law, or they could face costly civil lawsuits. Carissa Folks from Boise was one of a few people supporting the measure. She says she's concerned about sharing a restroom with transgender women while helping her children use the toilet.
That is not a place that I personally, as a mother, want to worry about who might walk in behind me while my other toddler stands by and hopefully obeys and stays still.
Most testifiers said the bill discriminates against trans people and opens up businesses to lawsuits. Republican Representative Sean Dygert says he's not convinced just having a policy would keep companies out of trouble.
I'm not sure the policy is going to stop things. It just references when my wife gives me the policy to not getting the ice cream in the freezer. It doesn't work very well.
The full House will take up the issue next. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
Immigration continues to fill agendas of this year's session of the Idaho legislature. And on Wednesday, it took about 2 minutes before an Idaho lawmaker made a point of calling some Idaho public school children aliens. GOP Representative Steve Tanner represents Nampa. Yesterday, he unveiled a new bill that would direct all public schools from universities down to kindergarten to headcount the immigration status of students.
The intent of this bill is merely to have schools and the State Board of Education aggregate data and report it to the State Superintendent of Schools, who will report it once a year to the legislature so that the legislature can estimate what are the costs to educate children of foreign aliens.
Representative Jack Nelson said the count, whether it was necessary or not, could turn out to be another economic burden to schools and the Department of Education.
We're telling them that they have to dedicate someone to collecting this data and sending it in. And my concern is this is another unfunded mandate stuck down on public school districts.
And Democratic Representative Sonia Galavis of Boise weighed in, and she also happens to be a public school teacher.
This RS unnecessarily targets an already vulnerable population.
But the majority of the House Education Committee agreed on Wednesday that the bill should have a full public hearing. For the record, in a landmark 1982 case, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that no child, no matter their immigration status, can be refused a free public education. By this point in the season, you've likely seen and felt the many ways this winter is not like the rest. Payette Lake in McCall is one of many places hitting records. For the first time since 1934, it has not frozen over. Jackson Holmes reports.
Records kept by the Star News show the latest Payette Lake has completely frozen over was January 28th in 1980. Now, we've been past that record for more than 2 weeks. Jack McKinney, the aquatic ecology program manager at the Henry's Fork Foundation, says the lack of freeze may have ecological implications for the McCall area.
It means it's likely that surface temperatures could be warmer over the summertime. It means that you have, with a kick-started growing season, it means that you might have a greater likelihood of, say, a harmful algal bloom that produces toxins or something along those lines.
When lakes freeze over, the white ice and snow reflects solar energy and keeps temperatures cool. The opposite effect occurs without that layer of ice. Payette Lake may evaporate quicker due to the dark color of the lake absorbing solar energy. This can impact the water levels of the lake. But warmer temperatures and unusually low snowfall aren't stopping Idahoans from flocking to the mountain town. John Wood is the director of lodging at Shore Lodge in McCall. He says people are still going up to sled, ride snowmobiles, and shop downtown.
We're having a really great for beginning of the season, unexpectedly so. I think our occupancy is definitely strong.
Wood says this season's visit numbers aren't that different from previous years. Jackson Holmes, Boise State Public Radio News.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. Say, will you join me as I'm a guest on Idaho Matters today? I'm going to give you a few tips on what you might want to watch at home or at the movies. And I'll be back here tomorrow for The Connector. In the meantime, take care and thanks for listening.
Hi, it's Terry Gross, host of Fresh Air. Hey, take a break from the 24-hour news cycle with us and listen to long-form interviews with your favorite authors, actors, filmmakers, comedians, and musicians, the people making the art that nourishes us and speaks to our times. So listen to the Fresh Air podcast from NPR and WHYY.